Oh, snap. What's up, everybody? This is TEKNOBLAST on Techno's Gaming. We got SIKSLAYER up here. The realist might come up in here in a second. And what you just saw is pretty much a little jab to the, what do you call it? The stable boys? The pony barn. Even though Phil Spencer told everybody pretty much on the business update that Starfield and Indiana Jones is not coming to the PlayStation, they're still holding hope. They still have hope somehow that it will come to PlayStation, even though Phil Spencer was the first question she asked, is it going to PlayStation? He said no right away. And somehow, nope. They can't, even then, they can't take the answer that was given.
They went out their way to ask the questions right off, just to make sure.
Just to shut everybody up. So there's no.
And they still, y'all saying Xbox has no games? PlayStation has no games. Y'all are desperate for games.
They are desperate.
Like you want our games.
They are desperate, big time.
4 titles. Nothing that's already been released in the past, right?
Yes.
4 titles that are still in development, and they just bought Activision. So these are probably 4 titles you were gonna get anyway. Lots of time and development and money has already probably been put into them already, and it's too far to just drop, and it's not really worth dropping, and they were gonna come anyway, so you're gonna get them. Bet you one of them is Call of Duty anyway.
Of course,
wouldn't it?
And that wouldn't even bother me. Call of Duty, we know Call of Duty.
It's probably not. It's probably something else. But I mean, Call of Duty would fit, and that would sting even more that they played these board games.
But what bugs me is these idiotic rumors from idiots who don't have any type of source whatsoever. All they're doing is regurgitating what everybody else is saying, right?
Yep.
That's all they're doing, right? And so now they're still speculating what these games are. Could it be Grounded? Could it be Sea of Thieves? Could it be Hi-Fi Rush? Could it be this? Not that they're right? Say if they hit on those games, it's not because they were right. It is because they just guessed and they just happened to hit. Not because they had any solid proof that it was going to happen. Those were the titles they're going to go, right? Nobody knows. Nobody knows except for the people that are there at Xbox, Phil Spencer, Sarah, and Matt. Okay. Nobody else knows. All right. So your little buddy that you believe in, that's on YouTube, somebody that's on Twitter or whatever platform is out there that you trust so much in their information, they don't know shit. They don't know anything.
They don't know any more than us, bro.
Right. And for people to keep running on whatever stupidity they said, they're bigger idiots as well.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And so and like we've discussed off air, and I've said this many times, numerous times in the past, in past shows, and when rumors are all over the place and people just losing their minds over these stupid, idiotic rumors, is that, you know what? Just wait until the company man says something, right? Until Phil Spencer, Matt Booty, Sarah Bond, somebody who actually works at the company to tell you what's what, right? What's going down. Not somebody off of YouTube, not somebody off of Twitter, not somebody off whatever platforms out there. Wait for these 3 people to actually give you the information that you're looking for. And then you can react the way you want to react. But this entire week was just idiotic, how people are just flipping out and just going overboard. Like, oh, it's good. All the games, it's Xbox is bankrupt. All the titles are coming over. All of this and all of that. Oh my God, they're a third-party publisher. Yada yada. I was like, dude, the stupidity in people.
Utter stupidity, bro. It makes my head hurt. The stupid, bro. It burns.
Yeah. It was just dumb. It's dumb. And I mean, I don't know how much more direct Phil and the team have to be so people can get it. Now Now for the remainder of the week, until Sunday or so, you're gonna have all these articles pumping out, right? Slicing and dicing whatever Phil and Sarah Matt said. Slicing and dicing to find some hidden meaning behind what they said, because they can't take what they said face value. Right? They can't take what they said in this 20-minute podcast and just take their word for it for face value. No, they have to slice it and dice. I'm like, man, what did he really mean?
And how many times do they? This is not the first.
No, it's not the first time.
How many times do they have to say this, bro? Get an Xbox or a PC. That's it. No, you're not getting it. They went out of their way to tell you again. They weren't even going to talk about any of this. All the talk about this subject was at the very beginning, right? And then they went into their plans of what they plan to do with the, with the acquisition of ABK now, and how they plan to roll that out, right?
Yeah.
10 titles coming out this year, right? You heard from Matt Booty, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's all. That's the stuff they came to talk about. They only added this little bit in the beginning because all y'all was running around like, your hair's on fire.
Yep.
Bro, nothing is going on, bro. It's business as usual. This is probably fourth thing from ABK that were always coming along, or sequel to a Minecraft or something. Minecraft is staying multi-platform.
Yes. And how has Minecraft hurt being on multiple platforms?
It was there from the start before Microsoft had them. They just, Microsoft is.
I know they continued it, but
like that, they never do nothing stupid like that. Like Sony and Nintendo would expect that from them, right? if they had bought Minecraft, that's what they would have did, and nobody would have batted an eye either. But Microsoft doesn't ever. But that's just one example. Yeah. Microsoft never does that type of thing. They always turn the other cheek for gaming as a whole on certain things like that, right? Right?
Yeah.
But they don't do stupid. They just do, like good guy things, but don't think because they kind that they weak though, and they've proven that today. They've been proving that lately.
Yeah.
Ridiculous amounts, and then the Game Pass numbers. That was another thing they came to talk about.
Yeah.
Right. That's what this was really all about.
Now I heard from the realist. Oh, he's here. That he says 34 million is not a good number.
Oh, apparently.
That's what he said.
Realist, if you're here, bro.
He is. He's right there.
To speak on that. So yeah, what you got to say, bro?
He's still here.
Just when it comes to 34 million. Look, Phil Spencer says that it's profitable. So I guess in that sense, because like when PlayStation was making 5 cents a console, calling it profitable, that was a good deal. So to me, right, with all the access to customers on PC, we know that the Xbox is lagging behind as far as consoles sold, but they still are able to sell to the Xbox One. Right, those people who still have Xbox Ones can stream. Game Pass is a benefit to them.
Yeah.
And I'm just saying, with the amount of customers available to them, that 34 million. Look, and obviously Xbox agrees with me, because if they thought differently, they would have told us long ago how many consoles they had. Mm-hmm. Because earlier I was listening to, I think his name's Chaos Lounge, and they were saying, oh, they had announced 40 million. I was like, Xbox never announced anything other than 25 million. Right? And they've been holding on to 25 million for like 2 years, 2.5, 3 years.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know exactly how long. Now, Strauss Zelnick, right? I said Strauss Zelnick said 29. So who are you going to believe? Strauss Zelnick or Sarah Bond? It's like, dude, it's not about Sarah Bond or Strauss Zelnick. I'm just telling you that he let the cat out of the bag when he was on the interview, when they were talking about, acquisitions or possibly them coming to Xbox. I don't know if you guys remember, but Strauss Zelnick said that, hey, what do you have, Phil? 29 million? And Phil Spencer kind of was like, man, we didn't want to let that out. I don't know if you guys remember that or not.
No.
Do you?
No.
Okay.
I do just now at that very end when you recited the exact words that were said. Now I remember that. I do.
Okay, yeah. Strauss Zelnick, CEO of Take-Two Interactive, right? That's what he said. He said, what you at now, Phil? 29 million? And Phil was like, shh, come on, man, we weren't supposed to say that. But it's obvious that everybody knows the numbers. And I'm glad that they were able to respect Microsoft's privacy, because a lot of times things get leaked,
Yeah.
right? But if Microsoft is trying to sell Game Pass as a quote unquote platform or a place for them to bring their video games, they have to let other publishers know. But 34 million to me is not, it's not enough, especially to we want get. I don't know about you. I don't want to say we. I want Game Pass to go on. I buy enough games as there is, and look, Game Pass, Microsoft have the look before they started buying studios. I appreciated their exclusives more than the other platforms, but now that you have Bethesda, Obsidian, like, this is home, right? No matter how bad it gets, as long as I get those games in Game Pass day one, that's enough reason for me to claim Xbox
May I
as my
interrupt you real
platform.
quick?
Yeah.
Well, not to sound rude or anything, because honestly, not at all, right? I feel like the crux of your argument is 34 just sounds like a low number to you, and if so, I agree. I ain't go front. Yeah, 34 sounded kind of low to me. That's all.
I mean, well, yeah, I mean, pretty much. And I just want to, I guess, validate my statement instead of just putting it out there. And, if I just let Tech say, yeah, like Realist said, and then I'll be like, and I'm just chilling. There's no,
Yeah.
it seems like I'm just being an idiot or a douche. And that's not what I'm trying to say. But like I said, it's obvious that Microsoft agrees with me, because they've kept that number under wraps. I'm sure they wanted to wait till they hit 50. And I'm pretty sure they thought that they had such a good proposition that they'd be able to hit 50. But I guess what they underestimated is the short-sightedness of the consumer. Because at the end of the day, it doesn't matter if you give them 100 games if they only want to play 2 or 3.
Yeah.
But what Microsoft was doing through Game Pass is helping people identify new genres, new games that were overlooked or that they might not have ever had interest in. And they were noticing that people who were in Game Pass were engaged with it in that way. But it just seems as though people aren't giving it the chance that they need. And also, obviously, churn is a real deal, is a real issue with any subscription service is going to have churn issues.
Yeah.
So we never know what they peaked out at, or it could be that they weren't trying to wait until they hit 50. It could be that they're waiting to hit a somewhat stable number that they felt confident enough to announce.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of people on PC. Look at all these people on Steam. Like, yeah, they could get games cheap, but they, for the most part, they aren't going to be Microsoft games that you're going to get. Look, Wolong, you rather pay for Wolong or go play it in Xbox PC? That's what I did.
Mm-hmm.
And Pal World is cheap, but man, I could just boot. Now I heard it does perform better on Steam. The online connectivity is better, but at the end of the day, man, $27. I went in Game Pass and played it from there. I don't need to play with anybody. I'll wait for them to fix it. All the Persona games. You're talking about $70 for Persona Reload, right? Three of the day ones that are $70 basically are going to cover the service costs.
Yeah.
So, well, looking at 210.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. What is it? 280. So 4 games now. Because it's going up. But yeah, I mean, the service pretty much pays for itself. But if people don't see the value in it, it's going to be rough. But we're going to see, like I said, we're going to challenge the short-sightedness of the casual consumer when they put a game like Call of Duty in, which they play 8 or 9 months out of the year, and see if that helps with subscriptions.
Yeah. And I don't think people, like the general public, still has a total understanding what Game Pass is, right? I mean, you could tell us like, what's something like Netflix or gaming? It was like, well, it's they understand shows, TV shows, movies being streamed because we got tons of services. Like everybody has a streaming service, and they feel comfortable with that already. But we've never seen it with gaming. And even though Game Pass has been out since 2017, I think, it's still not understood by the masses. We understand it because we're all about it, right?
Yeah, we're hardcore gamers.
We're hardcore, so we have a total
right?
understanding.
Because you're talking about the hardcore and the regular.
Yeah.
What I think is when Call of Duty comes to Game Pass, that's going to be a booster. That's going to give another rush of subscribers. Will it be enough to get to 50? I'm not saying yes or no. I'm not really confident in other direction. I really don't know.
Yeah.
But I feel at least there's going to be another boost in subscriberships just off of that alone.
But
Right?
see, the problem with that sick
Mhm.
is that you subscribe. Eventually, common sense will kick in, right? If you're mainly a Call of Duty guy, because I'm telling you, there are people that just play Call of Duty,
Yep.
right? They just jump in and play Grand Theft Auto. It doesn't matter if you offer me 500 games, I don't see the value in it. But like I said, that's why we're going to test the short-sightedness of the consumer that's going to subscribe, right, to save now and pay later. But see, this is what I always envisioned the beauty of a subscription service, right? Reason why we don't need to hold Xbox more accountable. We don't need to hold their feet to the fire with every mistake. Why? Because they're making a subscription service their priority, right? That's the tip of the spear for them is their subscription service. So in order to keep people subscribed to a service, you need to what? Keep people engaged by bringing compelling content on a consistent basis,
Yep.
right? It can't be just COD. It can't be just Starfield. Because honestly, I think they're waiting too long between Starfield and Forza before they release a new game. Because what happens with a lot of people, you get all these new releases. Like, what is it? Yesterday I bought, what's the name of that game? With your wife's a ghost. Whatever, I bought it. All right. And if I was one of those people that was just in and out of Game Pass, I don't need Game Pass. It's going to take me a minute. In addition to my backlog, right? There's too many games that people are buying, and a lot of times people are buying these games just because they're on sale. Guilty.
Yeah. And I understand that because
I just did that on a Humble Bundle yesterday, and then I gave Realist 2
I
games
was
off of that. Like,
I was going to bring that up.
I wasn't trying to
because-
brag it, and the reason I'm bringing that up is because like it makes the point, right? Because many people have done that to me. I have many games on my Steam account from that, right? Like the Humble Bundle thing, and so cheap I can just give it away. That's all.
Hey, let me ask you this: since you guys are big, heavy Steam guys, I mean, I have a Steam account, but I don't use it much. When you purchase a game for yourself, and you've had it, whatever, X number of months, doesn't matter. It's beyond the window of when you purchased it. Can you give that away?
No, you can gift games to buy directly to someone's account.
Okay.
Can I
Okay.
give away your games?
Yeah,
I wish
like
you
that
had
would
some
that would be great.
Yeah.
That would be great because like you would have like game trading clubs and things like that.
Right. Like
But-
I was like, if I had a title A game and I didn't want it anymore, it's like, hey, here, you can have it. I bought this a long time ago. I don't want it more. I'll just transfer it to your account. So I didn't know if there was something like that existing with Steam.
No, but the good thing about them is that they allow 5 accounts to share. Like you can share your account with 5 people,
Oh, I didn't know that.
and
Yeah,
then
like a family thing, yeah.
See, my son uses
And
mine
then
all the
with-
time.
with-
My account. He doesn't have his own.
yeah, but you can't play the same game at the same time.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
That sucks.
that's the downfall of that. Because like on Xbox, I play baseball with my son. He shares my account, but yeah, you can share with up to 10 PCs and 5 accounts.
Unless you buy the game again for the other account, of course.
Yeah.
Then it will work.
Yeah.
They don't work.
And depending on the game, with Steam and its crackhead sales all the time, sometimes you just wait it out and it'll resolve itself.
Bro, the only game I want to share, right? The only reason why I got my nephew's account on my Steam deck is to play Elden Ring.
Yeah.
And he's always playing Elden Ring, so it's always telling me, go buy it, bitch.
Yeah. Oh, speaking of which, I just read today that Bandai Namco doesn't have the license to Elden Ring anymore.
Yeah,
I
it's
guess it goes back
FromSoft
to
now.
FromSoft.
Yeah.
It goes back to FromSoft. So shout out to FromSoft, man. They've been making their moves, making their success.
Who had the Bandai Namco?
Right. So they had the success with many of these Dark Souls games, right? Now,
Yeah.
but Namco, of course, being publisher, was getting a big piece of that, but they were still making their bread off of that, right? Getting better, rising, get more notoriety. Then they come out with Elden Ring. We know how big of a hit that was, right? With Game of the Year,
Yeah.
its year. And then last year with Armored Core 6, action game of the year. Big deal, right? Like a lot of people played Armored Core who never messed with the franchise or had it for a very long time, that it may as well have been a new game to them, right? It really did blow up. So, From Software is in a bit of a run. Now they have the rights to Elden Ring, which is I'm sure is still getting some trickle sales too, right? That's all going to From Software. Well, actually, no, it doesn't work like that, I guess. But still, like FromSoft has more charge of their destiny now. I would imagine their debts are low, stuff like that. That would be good.
Well, it's getting to a point to where the parent company doesn't need anybody, right? Doesn't need anybody outside, right? Because you have Sony, who's like what 14% of FromSoft. You have Tencent, which is 16% of FromSoft, and then Tencent is the second largest shareholder of Kurakawa. So like it's to a point, because Tencent before China did what they did to their businesses was worth $965 billion, right? so they are a formidable company, and they don't need anybody necessarily like Bandai. And then with a partner like Tencent that understands gaming. Look, man, I'm not gonna go off on a huge tangent, but we gotta stop hating on Tencent because pretty much everything they touch is gold.
Well,
like
I generally agree, but I just want to make it. It's unfortunate that this happened today. I think they laid off more people or whatever, like a percentage or whatever. I think Tencent, or was that Embracer?
No, that was Embracer.
But Tencent did before, right?
Well, I don't doubt that they did, but the news today was Embracer, and it was similar numbers to Microsoft. That just lets you know the scale of Embracer's workforce.
Yeah,
they said they laid off like 1,600, and it was 8% of their workforce.
Wow.
Yeah,
16.
And Microsoft laid off 1,900, and it was what 9% or 8% too.
But no, but we don't see these hate articles that like Microsoft does.
You're not going to.
Microsoft lays out X number of people. And sure enough, here comes the hate. Like, I can't believe they lay all the money they keep pumping out, like they keep generating in revenue and this and that. Oh, it's like, why did they do this? Oh my God, I thought it was a safe place to work. And I'm like, dude, it's like it's going across the board. Even Phil said that. It's not just them, it's everybody. Right. And so yeah. I don't know, man. It's just people.
Yeah, but that's why people just need to let these people do their business, right? But that's why Microsoft is getting these record profits, right? You trim the fat. You don't make crazy money by giving it away.
Yeah. And what people don't understand, it's not just about the people's salary that they have to cut back. It's all the benefits, the insurance, and everything that comes along having an employee employed at a company. Right. So it all adds up. So it's like, just people don't know. They think they're all couch analysts. They all know it better than anybody else. They're sitting on their little lazy boy at home. They know there's like, oh man, Microsoft makes all this money. They shouldn't be laying off anybody. It's like, do you know how to run a business?
But screw Twitter. This is freaking journalists writing these articles, beating these people, this vitriol. Right. This is not like your average Joe just coming out here that doesn't know anything about HR, doesn't pay attention to his paid vacations. Right. He or she, they're not paying attention to their paid vacations, their sick days that they get paid off. They don't understand. They're not paying attention to these things. They don't think about they don't even know what goes into benefits.
Yeah.
Right. Like when it goes into benefits, like I can pay a guy 1099 and you get your own benefits, or I can pay for your benefits, and then you have to, you have to pay. You have to break bread.
Somebody's got to pay.
Right?
Yep.
It's like people don't understand. You can make more money and do it on your own, and then end up breaking even anyway. But these people, they don't understand. I'm not even worried about them. I'm talking about these so-called analysts and professionals that are feeding them this bad information.
Oh, that bullshit.
Pretty much.
That's right.
Yes, sir.
All right. So 4 games going to other platforms. We don't know those games. And all these idiots who are pumping out their speculations like they don't know right? They're just playing the guessing game. Starfield and Indiana Jones not coming to other consoles, and somehow these idiots again, they just can't take his word for it. There's always a hidden meaning behind it on the words he chooses, right? He also stated something about in the next 10 years, exclusivity is going to be smaller and smaller. So now they're probably twisting that and saying, aha, if he's saying that, that means Starfield, Indiana Jones at some point in the next 10 years, it's going to go on other platforms, right? These 4 games are a segue to like, we're testing the waters. We're testing to see how these games are received and the return they may get on these 4 games. It's like, will that open a door for other exclusive games to go on their platforms? That's how they're taking it. Xbox Game Pass is not changing. They're not taking away day one games or anything like that. They're just going to keep adding more and more to it, especially now that they got, the ABK portfolio. And now we got Diablo 4 coming out in March, which is almost a year, right?
Almost a year. This is just the first taste of what's coming from the ABK acquisition. Yeah. I mean, I want to speak on this. This is what I envision what they're going to do with Call of Duty, right? Like, generally what will happen, because the ramp up to the next Call of Duties, at least in terms of advertising, it's going to start in a couple months, right? Like March is right around the corner. So, and thus E3 ain't that much, or that, that summer, games,
the summer showcase.
News. Yeah. That, that whole period of time that E3 used to embody, the moments just before that, that whole pre-summer stuff, right? Like early summer stuff, where all the hype for video games, really picks up. E3 time, right? So what's going to happen, I feel, is they're going to have maybe a Call of Duty related event or an Activision type thing.
Yeah.
And there'll be merch all the time, bro. I think merch is going to be big time. But I think what they're going to do is they're going to have a breakdown of when they start releasing some of the back catalog of Call of Duty games onto Game Pass, right? They'll probably have like I don't know, maybe it'll be like a pre-recorded video like they did today, right?
Yeah.
And then they'll have some representative come out and talk, but Xbox style, but for the Activision stuff. Because Activision has their style too when they do this kind of thing, right? I think there'll be a melding of those styles in terms of presentation, because Xbox has a new team that's doing presentation. I think they used to work with IGN and other stuff, right? But now they even work for Microsoft. And so you see they're in charge of a lot of these, like a developer directs. You see how they have like a unified style in there, like UI and stuff, right? It's from this team. So I feel like, they'll show the back catalog, and they might tease with a trailer of the next Call of Duty, right? And then maybe just before E3, they'll start the beta or the alpha, whatever. You'll start to see little tastes of stuff, but more also of the back catalog. And maybe they won't drop it all at once, because that's a lot of stuff, right?
That is. But there's still people out there that still play those old like Call of Duty games. Because not everybody likes the Modern Warfares. Not everybody likes the whatever, the Ghost ones or whatever that's out there. I like the older ones. I actually like the World War ones.
Yeah. I used to love those too. And this is why I used to always play the single players of Call of Duties, right? Yeah. Because I love the World War II single players for the first 3, even 3.
World at War was my favorite.
Right? Yeah, that one was good. It leads into Black Ops, and if you play Black Ops and you see these characters know each other from before, you need to play World at War, and you'll see why, right? Yeah. Like there's a whole universe with those games, those Treyarch games, right? But what I'm saying is they're gonna trickle those out. Right?
You know what I would like to see between all these Call of Duties now that they're part of Xbox is a character that goes through all the iterations of Call of Duty, kind of like Carmine. Carmine in Gears of War, how he gets killed, but then he has like a cousin or something. And he's pretty much the same as the original Carmine.
It's the same guy. Like he seems to remember all the stuff that the last one did before he died or something.
Yes.
Yeah, like it's the same guy.
I would like to see a character like that just go across all the Call of Duties from here on.
Or just use one of the more popular characters that's usually in most of them. You know what I'm saying? But they could do whatever, bro. But I mean, there's so much they could trickle out with just that. It will be a constant flow, steady diet of good news of new releases or news of an upcoming release, big or small. It doesn't even have to be anything big. Just like, oh, this is coming to Game Pass now. This coming from the back catalog. And that's just a Call of Duty game. This is Division, Blizzard, and King. Let's focus on Activision alone. They said back catalog. There's a lot of back catalog.
There's a lot of games.
There's a lot of games, right? So they're gonna trickle that. So there'll always be a steady diet of on your mind. Boom, 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 boom. Games. Game Pass. This all day long, every day, almost, right? And that's just that. Then there's let's not forget the Warcraft. What's going to happen with that? BlizzCon, right? What's going to happen there? Are they going to announce the console version? I guarantee you that's coming to PlayStation if they do a console version. I don't think they're going to keep that to Xbox. I hope they don't, frankly.
But the thing is, Sick, I don't know if you pay attention to PlayStation's showcases, but they have a second-party World of Warcraft competitor. Like they showed that in one of the shows last year. So it's like at the end of the day,
then.
World of Warcraft is what made Blizzard what it was a part of making Activision what it is. And so you don't need PlayStation. And if they're serious, right? Because Phil Spencer reiterated that they do want people on Xbox. Okay.
Yep.
Putting games like that on PlayStation does nothing for Xbox. But makes money, right? It makes money for Microsoft. Yeah.
Exactly. And it's World of Warcraft. So it's like, okay.
But
You know?
World of Warcraft, right, also has to compete with other existing games, and then maybe it'll have to compete with it'll be on Xbox now. Final Fantasy 14. You see it? It's like
yeah. The beta's about to start soon. Yeah.
World of Warcraft is old, man, and
it is.
A lot of people have fallen off.
Final Fantasy passed it. It's number one now, and that's the one that's coming to Xbox confirmed.
Final Fantasy is number one. So, it's old because I don't know if y'all know Mortivori on Twitter. He used to be casual. I forgot what his name is. He always changed his name. He was a bot, right? He was Squirrel Bot. He was an Xbox fan. Now he's a PC guy all the way. He sold his Xbox and he PC. So he got me paid like $90 to catch up for the past 16 years that I didn't play it. And the first thing I noticed when I played it, I was like, dude, this is just like I remembered it. It's trash. Like not the game, not the game, the aesthetic. It's like nothing changed. But then I thought about it. That's the reason why the game has been able to last so long, because you can run it on anything.
Runs on a
you can run that. Yeah, because if you look at it, it's so basic. But man, the communities that were in that game, the stories, the Leroy Jenkinses, the things. Yeah, those guys are there. Those guys have lost wives. Those guys are still there. So I hope they look. I believe that if Xbox supports PlayStation in the manner that I'm hearing some Xbox fans say, what's the point in the Xbox? Okay, if I could just wait and get all of Xbox's best, why do I need to buy their console? Why do I need to invest in their ecosystem? As a PlayStation fan, now the biggest thing when it comes to PlayStation fans is they're so excited every time they hear something about Xbox coming to PlayStation. Why not just buy the Xbox? Because all these years they've been trying to tell us that we wanted God of War and Spider-Man, and telling us just go buy a PlayStation. What's your problem? Why can't you take your own advice? I really don't understand that. But I don't want World of Warcraft over there. Plus, PlayStation is making something that looks just like it.
I'm saying, I just thought it was a thing of, money-wise. But hey.
I mean, look, more subscribers, the better. Then put it everywhere, right?
If for something like that, that's my logic, but it doesn't matter to me. It's not that serious,
it just depends how important it is to them, right? Because if it's all about the success, right? You understand. Because see, we're not live service, right? I guess this is a subscription video game now, right?
Yeah.
You buy. It's like every month you're paying the price of Game Pass to play World of Warcraft. So at that rate, put it on Nintendo too. I don't know how important it is because I'm a console warrior. I'm sorry, I'm not too old. I'm gonna always be a console warrior until there's no console to war over. Nobody can make me feel stupid about it. I don't want to support PlayStation. Right? PlayStation did nothing for Xbox. The only game that they support Xbox with, they made them do it.
Yeah.
I don't want God of War. The only game I want from PlayStation is Ghost of Tsushima. And then we got God of War, and then we got what's the name of that? Assassin's Creed basically scratches the same itch. So I really don't care anything about what PlayStation has to offer until they show me something different. And now that they're putting their multiplayer on PC, I will never buy anything on PlayStation. Plus, I'm not buying online to play a game.
Yeah, definitely. And for me, a lot of the indies that just would come to PlayStation and not Xbox, now they're coming to PC instead. They'll like get everybody and only exclude Xbox, but PC will be on the end. So okay, fine, I don't care. Right? Like I look at like these publishers who like I forget who the publisher is, but he's doing a collection of what's that game? It's like Final Fight on Steam and on Xbox. It's kind of like Final Fight. It was one of those beat 'em up games, right? But it's like
Final Fight. You had Streets of Rage. You had,
no, but it's something like that, right? But it's like a 3-pack of indie games. This is just one of the 3. I can't even remember the others. How the hell with it, right? But like this indie publisher is doing this package of like for PS4. Repeat this: PS4. There's a disc version on PS4, on PS5, and Switch. Number 1, okay, fine. So it's PlayStation and Switch, and I know all 3 games happen to be on Steam, so they're just not going to do a physical version of Steam games, duh, right? But like, why would you make a collection of 3 indie games for PS4 and PS5 branded discs? Why don't you just use a PS4 disc and call it a day?
Yeah.
It's the same shit. They're indie games. You know what I'm saying? They're so against just making a run for Xbox, right? No matter what the talk about what Microsoft rules are, if you're paying for a run for like 2 different PlayStation consoles, you could have just replaced one and use it as Xbox. Done, right? So like, there's a lot of these indies that do that all the time. So that's just one example of like the few publishers that will publish these things physical media, right? Or these indie titles that they'll announce online, right? So often for zero freaking reason, they'll exclude Xbox. And the reason it's particularly messed up is because you'll see there'll be a Steam release, right? And if you play it on Steam, it recognizes the Xbox buttons and everything. Like that's what shows up in the interface. So all the work is already done.
Oh, really?
In the Xbox version, right? I'm telling you, all the time I see it, all the time, because I love, that's a big genre, not just genre, but like a style of game that I like to play a lot, right?
Yeah.
As much as anything else, right? I would say a good 50% of my library is that stuff. In fact, that Humble Bundle, my main interest was the classic Capcom arcade collections they have there, the 2 Stadium collections.
Mm-hmm.
That was the main reason I bought the Humble Bundle for $20. Plus, I get a coupon for $20 off a Street Fighter 6. I'm gonna buy that tomorrow morning.
Hey, sick. So,
yeah,
what games were in that Capcom bundle?
So the Capcom bundle that I bought on Humble Bundle. Hang on.
No, I mean the beat 'em up bundle.
Well, I can't remember the name. That's the thing about it. But it was a.
Was it the one that looks kind of like Gauntlet?
No. It's like a Streets of Rage type of clone.
Yeah, because I bought one on Steam. It was like $5, and it came with 4 games. One of them, it's kind of like, I guess, like fantasy, beat 'em up. I played it as long as I could. It's not good.
Well,
because back in the day, I used to like Final Fight, Streets of Rage.
Yeah,
those are my favorite beat 'em ups.
It's a game of that ilk, right? That just happens to be on Xbox digitally, but this publisher is making physical versions, and these little niche publishers that do these things for indie games, they rarely ever make Xbox versions.
Oh,
right?
but there is a digital version of it?
Yeah, all 3 of those games exist on Xbox and Steam, but oftentimes it'll be even worse. They'll have Steam versions only, but not Xbox versions, right?
Yeah.
Well, if you play the Steam versions with an Xbox controller, it'll show the Xbox buttons, but if you play with a PlayStation controller, it'll play PlayStation buttons and likewise Nintendo controller. You know how, like, a lot of these games are multi-plat, so like the code for all those icons is built in the game, and the game knows what controller you have, and that's how it shows what buttons, right? So all that work's already done, but they see fit not to release an Xbox version. Like, the rabbit hole gets real deep with this indie shit, and I feel like a lot of people who are against RPGs, like anytime I see in spaces, like there will be a dude who all of a sudden rants against like Japanese games and RPGs, and I always say like a high tide raises all boats, because if you can get a lot of these little niches, PlayStation has almost all of those niches by default. PlayStation, and then to a slightly lesser extent Switch, right? And then now Steam is starting to be a rising star in that arena, right? But they go out of their way, it seems, to avoid Xbox or exclude Xbox. And the few times the Xbox do get it, then you got these physical publishers who don't make an Xbox version, but will make a PS4 and a PS5 version of a collection of indie games that's just PS4 code anyway. I guarantee you those two discs are basically the same, just a different wrapper on the box. Like, really, y'all had to spend extra money to do that? That was money wasted. You could have made an Xbox version and put an Xbox wrapper on it. Duh. You know what I'm saying? But so it just proves they're going out of their way to avoid it on purpose. So all these little games, because I see a lot of dudes who are very casual, right? And there's a lot of these collections of like retro titles, right, that they remember from their youth, and they get in packs of them, right? And they'll play them. Well, I know a lot of dudes who have Switches with a lot of retro style games that they grew up with in their youth, and they can play them now in their free time. They're grown, you know, their kids is grown or whatever.
Yeah, man, I got Burger Time.
Yeah, man, a lot of that stuff, a lot of games like that, like almost anything you can imagine, right? On Switch, on all the consoles, frankly, but particularly on Switch.
I actually like playing. Well. I like playing some of those retro games on Switch because it's just so. Yeah, man. It seems so fitting to be on a Switch.
It's fitting on a handheld.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed it is. But they go out of the way to exclude Xbox. I'm saying, right? And there's a whole lot of that. It's a lot of that. So it may be small individually, but in aggregate, it's a wave of this stuff they do all the time, and it's just infuriating and bad for the Xbox brand. But it seems from the outside that it's too small of a thing to deal with. But if they ever did, I think they would see, you know, because then other developers would think, they would think of Xbox first, because they have the whole ID at Xbox situation there, right?
Yeah, like Don said, they got the preview, they got the ID, and like some other couple other programs that they go early access.
Yeah, look at all the stuff that's on Game Pass via that all the time. Look at that one racing game I was talking about, that F1 looking racing game, like that kind of like what's it, Virtua Racing. Like before Virtua Fighter, they had Virtua Racing, the F1 looking game, 3D from Sega. It has a style like that, right? Like it's a dude who's doing it on Steam. Early access is about to come out soon, right? And so he's on Steam. He's got video. He looks real cool. And he started asking about consoles. I said, you should look at ID at Xbox. Like 3 days later, his next tweet is, he's getting a build ready to submit to Microsoft. That's how quick.
Oh hell, look at Power World, man.
Power, look at that, man. Like, and it's so ironically messed up that indie games that have systems built in around Xbox to make that super easy, and then they're just avoiding it.
Yeah, because supposedly PC and Xbox are similar in architecture. Yeah. So they could just port it over really easily, but
easy and not too much, but kind of like Tim Dog. You know what I'm saying? So it's all these little. It's like a death by 1,000 cuts.
Yeah.
You feel me?
Yeah. So Xbox has to raise the profile and show a lot of these developers that they care. Yeah. There are a lot of little publishers, indies that overlook Xbox, but PC is always a priority because people they don't like it when I say it, man. But like when it came to PC, man, there were a lot of games that didn't come to PC. So PC gamers became accustomed to playing these types of games. So you look to PC first. That's the first platform, and then when it comes to console, you're gonna go to the biggest one. Now, I would challenge that Nintendo sells more of these games than the other two, because I get on Switch, and those are the only games, not the only games, but those are the majority of the games that you see on sale, right? Switch doesn't have a lot of sales, but the great deal section is full of those indie games. Yep. But you know what game I want, man? Since it worked for Brotato, I'm gonna ask Phil, can we get Pizza Tower?
Never heard
Pizza
that.
Tower. I've heard this. I've heard the name, but I guess
Of
it's
course
still
you
in
have,
development.
because it's a great little indie game, man. It's like, I ain't gonna say
I
it's
love
like
those indie
Super
games.
Meat. It's not like Super Meat Boy, but it's got the same kind of little indie hype around it. But Pizza Tower, that's a cool game. Look it up, you'll see.
I'm doing it right now.
It never goes on sale. That's how
Pizza
popular it
Tower
is.
or
Peas of Tower.
Like, yep,
Pizza.
like Domino's or Pizza
Pizza.
Hut.
Pizza Tower.
Yep,
Oh, Pizza Tower.
Pizza Tower. Yep.
Oh, it's on IO. Pizza Tower. Oh, it's a web. I can play on the web. A little yellow dude with a big mouth. There's like a chef running after him. What is this?
You can play it on IO.
PizzaTower.io website.
Go to Steam and look it up.
Steam. I don't know. You said Pizza Tower, and that's what showed up on that thing first.
Well, I mean, because IO is just a bunch of people that it's basically a Roblox.
Same game. Yeah, it's this game. Yeah, same game.
Is it this
I
one?
would rather.
Wow.
Well, IO is free.
Is it this one?
No, but that was yeah. But
What
wait,
the hell?
let me see.
What the heck?
Let me see.
How did it change this?
No.
Spider-Man. They got
That, yes. I guess it started as an X.io game, right? Because it said alpha on the website.
John
and then
Gutter.
it evolved into this. And it evolved into this. Is cool. It kind of reminded me of Ren and Stimpy.
Uh-oh. Somebody drop off?
No, he's here.
Did I?
Really? But no,
I got a phone call. I got a phone call.
Oh,
Oh, okay. So you might have did and then came back
yeah.
and it just bleeped.
Bleep.
But either way, this is cool. But you see what I'm saying? Like all the time, bro, with this stuff. All the time. It's
Punty.
frustrating to see.
Punty has
It's like,
a thing to say about Tim Dog.
What you gotta say?
what'd he say?
He said we shouldn't be too hard on Tim Dog
Man,
because he might have averted disaster for us Xbox fans. We will never
How?
know they were doing in the background. They could have been planning all sorts of doo-doo.
Nah,
What?
because now you get to see what he's really made of, right?
exactly.
Right. Because like you look at a guy like David, right? David was, look, he could talk tough, but we were all worried.
A little worried.
Like,
Yeah, I'm not gonna
like as a console warrior, we would have been soldiers with a white flag.
Yep.
So if they would have made the announcement that the media was saying that we're gonna make, it would have been rough. You're not really console warrior tech, but I am. Like the wind's already been being taken out of my sales for the stupidity. I would have been all the way out. You know what I mean? I would have completely bought into the Microsoft vision of no tribalism, because like
Yeah.
the PlayStation fans are idiots, right? The fanboys, because they don't even tell the truth. You know, back in my day, when we were console warring, we didn't lie, right?
No.
We were talking about blast processing
Yeah.
we talked about blast processing because Sega Genesis told us.
Yeah.
Right? 20 years later, we found out it was a lie, but still, we didn't make it up.
Yeah.
Right? We didn't say that Mario was trash. We just said Sonic was better.
Yeah.
We didn't. You know, it's like what they do now. They sit around talking about how Xbox is so bad, but the minute they say that a game from Xbox is coming to PlayStation, their panties get wet, and I don't understand.
True.
You know, it's like they were like, if you listen to Neutron's like he left it open, you know, because who's to say that Indiana Jones, if it doesn't hit certain sales
I
metrics,
I'll guarantee
I'm
that.
paraphrasing.
Yeah. So he said, that's what he said. I'll guarantee that Starfield Indiana Jones will one day come to PlayStation because he left the door open, right? He didn't. There's always that chance, you know. Get that out of here.
I didn't see it on Twitter, but I saw it on what's the name, Chaos Lounge. But like, and then I watched the X1 brothers or bros, whatever, however you say that name, and you know they were basically saying the same type of thing. It helps Microsoft. No, it does. Okay, it helps Microsoft, but it does not help Xbox.
Yeah.
Right? Because if I'm a PlayStation owner, I'm just gonna sit there and wait. I'm not gonna buy an Xbox if I know that your games are eventually gonna come.
That's what
You know,
people
we're
saying out loud to the people who's believing on
we're not-
that. Yeah.
we're not getting any more Uncharted games, but I'm still not gonna go buy an Xbox. This is the thing. Microsoft is like, we gotta be accessible. We gotta be accessible because they feel like at this point in time they're not gonna just snatch market share away. They're gonna have to finesse them and wait them out. But
Yeah.
if they come out with a game, if Elden Ring was made by Microsoft and it was scoring 97s and winning Game of the Year, people would make the move.
Yeah.
If Call of Duty was exclusive, people would make the move. See,
Yeah.
all the stuff that he said to the FTC, which is true, yeah, they'd be upset, but they'll go cough up that $450 to $500, or at the very least $299.
Yep.
Right, but if they're hardcore, they're going for the big boy, right? Or they're
Mhm.
going to get on PC, whatever it is. Whatever it is.
That $10,000
But-
PC.
Man, some of these guys, man, I'm looking at them show off their PCs. It's like, man, look, stop
Right.
saying, man, look, bro, if you ain't got a 5090, bro, I don't want to see it PCMR hashtag, bro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, look, 5090 ain't even out. But look,
49. Yeah.
no, I know, but you know what I'm saying? Look,
you
top
talking
of the
actual-
line.
Yeah.
Top of the line. Look, I don't have top of the line. I'm under 3080 i9. Look, you don't never see me say
bro. Let me tell you, bro. You know the meme with the three guys and all, like, I don't know if it's 1800s, the powdered wigs and all that, looking down at the peasants, right? You have an i9 and a 3080. Listen to me. Say it with your chest. That is you, and that is me, right? That's not on some braggadocious shit that I'm saying that. That's just the literal fact compared to these guys talking this shit.
Yeah.
Most of them have basic ass laptops at best. At best, right? Most of them are doing this shit on their phones or tablets or whatever. They don't have no PC at all.
And then I see some cats
this
with
shit.
Steam Decks talking about they got their own PC. Like,
And this
Outta here, man.
and this is their first introduction to that whole ecosystem at all. Period. They just got it.
I got a Steam
right?
Deck.
Bro,
That means I got PC.
Right. They get the,
bro, I
and
mean,
they get the
technically you do, but to me, Steam Deck is the worst PC can offer
right.
because it only offers Steam. Look,
So
now
limited.
if you're a Steam guy, that's all you need. But
you
man,
can't play
Epic
all
get,
of Steam on it. That's the problem.
you can't play what?
All of Steam on it. Not everything runs. Remember, it's Proton.
Oh yeah.
It doesn't work all the
Oh,
time.
yeah.
A lot of multiplayer stuff.
Oh.
You missing out.
Well, yeah, if it's got a cheat,
Damn.
it's definitely not gonna work. But
So,
like,
Poe is saying that Sarah Bond's almost 50.
yeah, she looked good today though.
She did.
40s.
She
She's
did.
in her 40s at best, and she always looked fine. But damn, she did look nice tonight. Yes.
Nah, she alright to me. But today it was something about her, man. Today she might have had the little contour
She looked like
makeup on or something.
Nah, she's like a queen now. That's what it is. You know, this is the first time we
Her
she
face
got the crown.
looked different. Maybe she got that different energy. She got
Black
that
don't
boss
crack.
energy.
That's what it is.
Yo, man.
I don't even.
Because she's crazy. Because she's ahead of Xbox now. That's that new glow up look. You know, she just got that.
Yeah,
crown, you
that's
know?
what I'm
She's got
saying.
this
That different energy.
Oh, she's 46. All right.
She's
So you're a
46.
year older than me. All right, cool.
There you go.
But yeah, man. Well, I was saying, okay, yeah, he said Tim Dog. Get back on Tim
Yeah.
Dog, and then I'll be done. Bro,
Yeah.
everybody that's like Tim Dog, that didn't know how to stand tall, that was ready to run. I was the cat that was like, you know what, Xbox got to tell me.
Yeah.
It's not gonna come from media
Yeah.
where I fold.
But we've
Right.
always said this, man. Always wait
will
for
fold.
the
We will
company.
fold if need be, but it better be to some real. I'm not doing on some fake rumor. How stupid does Tim Dog look now? This is what I was saying earlier, right? Like Tim Dog was in the end, right? This was a dude. I won't even say his friend or nothing, but he would be at events, flew him out, being party chats. Clearly, he even had him on text because when he put him on unread and Phil wasn't answering his text no more, he was me like a guilty ex, right? Like you ever been with like ever been with a chick where she just keeps bugging you after you break up, right? Or maybe you would have simply did. I don't know. Anybody hear my voice? You're either one of the two, right? Right? That's how Tim Dog was. Now he's showing all his drama on the internet for everybody to see, right? After this first started, how stupid does he feel now, having said and done all of this for nothing? Had he just kept his mouth shut, he would have been in the same position he usually is in, right? Particularly lately, Xbox getting all the wins they've been getting. Like, he's been riding high on all this stuff, and today would have been another high moment for him. But instead, it's as low as he's ever been. Like, the
But see,
hell?
the thing with
Did
Tim
they do?
Dog, man, look, the ponies are waiting for him with open arms. I don't know if you like. We
Mhm,
follow each other, so I
mhm,
see what's said. Like that,
mhm.
and I'm gonna tell you something else. If Foxy Games UK comes to Xbox, we're gonna claim them. And when I say we, I mean the collective, not us.
Not
All
me.
right. As much crap as as much crap as this dude's talked about Xbox, he's starting to ease his way. Right.
Of course.
Dreamcast guy.
Mhm.
Right. We're gonna take him in. That's just how the game
I'm
goes. Tim
not.
Dog's got like 90,000 people. Huh?
I don't know. I think you know what's gonna happen. There's gonna be a new faction of people who want in, but generally are recognized. It'll be like a tier system. Excuse me. It'll be like a tiering thing, right? Where there's the true blue Xbox fans, right, and those who just want to claim Xbox as they're winning right now. And there will be like a clear delineation because a lot of those names that you named, they've violated multiple times in various forms, and that's what they're known for more than anything else. They don't have any other identity than a toxic pony or somebody who became a toxic pony but used to be Xbox and flipped during the Xbox One era. That's all these people are. Now, Tim Dog has joined their ranks, right? Now, a lot of them might want to start, acting like they pro Xbox, these press dudes or, names on the internet or whatever. But it'll be a whole group of those guys. But then there'll be some guys who are pro Xbox who will be like, who's gonna always look down on them and forever talk shit, and it will always be from the outside, and then you'll see that will be this out like the Fratangas and the Alex will sit there and point, and look at the console warring through the Xbox guys. Like, these are not just a pack of ponies, and not Xbox guys actually at all anyway. It'll be this whole stupid thing, guaranteed, right? But
All I'm saying is we take flip floppers.
Yeah. But I don't really know that.
Hey, we don't take flip floppers. Right? Look at Crap. Crap's still struggling to find his way back.
His knee. But I feel like he's saying these wild things on purpose now, just for the clout and clicks and views, right? Like, these guys are all scandalous. They will say whatever and then get blasted, and the next day they back saying something new, like the previous day didn't happen, all the time. So, who knows?
No, I'm just telling you, man. I watched him. They were ready for him. He says he's not going to, what's the word, influence for Xbox. He's not going to influence for Xbox anymore. He's going to spend some time on his PlayStation.
Nobody's taking you as an influencer for Xbox.
Yeah.
Nope.
He's gonna spend some time on his PSVR 2 because it's a great piece of kit. All this crap.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? It just lets you know, like, look, man, if you were a gamer, you should have been a gamer the whole time.
Yep.
Right? Like talk about your PlayStation all the time, not just when your cooter gets hurt. You know what I'm saying? You look at the way a lot of these guys are acting, man. Cope. Right? A lot of these. See, this is why you stand 10 toes down, no matter how scared you are in private.
Speak on it.
Oh man!
You know what I'm saying? Look, man. Look, King
I
David was shaking like everybody else, but he still acted like he was confident.
Yeah.
That's the thing. You put that public face on. He's the only one I'm talking about because he's the only one I can think of. Right? Of course, us, but we underground. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But like we're gonna keep we'll keep that public face. I'll tell you, look, if anybody would ask me, I'll tell you the truth. Man, look, man, it's looking bad, man. If this happens, man, I don't know what I can say. You know what I'm saying? Me even approaching a PlayStation fan at this point is an L.
Exactly. But that's why me and Tick always said we're not gonna sit there and react to something that's rumor. And they say something, then we'll react to it in the appropriate manner. Right? We're not gonna sit there and run around with like chickens with our heads cut off, bro. Look, that's why I brought up Tim Dog. That's the perfect example of what not to do. No matter how you feel, let it.
Well, but you said it. It was more than him not trusting Xbox. He felt like he was really in a relationship with some important people at Microsoft. I don't want to say it was Phil or anybody else, but what he did was emotional, right? That is we've all had a breakup with a girl, right? And we know that they get crazy when they don't get their way. And that's what I saw in Tim Dog. Tim Dog was so emotional about everything, which is why he was the butt of a lot of jokes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so he thought he was, you know, connected. And maybe that was Microsoft severing ties, and they might be restructuring because they see that being so open and public facing hasn't really benefited them much. It
Or
benefited
rather,
them when they were what?
what I think is it's the same thing I was saying about the AK situation and all the court battles and all the back and forth and blah blah blah. Right? It was about those receipts that validated so many things. This is a similar type of effect, right? Like, think about Microsoft's play throughout all of this, bro. This was actually the smartest thing. It seemed all crazy from the outside, but now that it's done, and now hindsight is 2020, as the phrase goes, right? Like hindsight, meaning to see the past behind you. Now you see it with 2020 vision. Now you see everything. It all makes sense now. But at the time, it was like, why isn't the Xbox just address this? But actually speaking, how many times did they have to say it? They said it friggin' before. They only really brought it up at the very beginning of this thing that's been playing in the background the whole time, right? Like they said at the beginning just to get over with, because that's not really what they were having this for. They came to announce all that other stuff they said. That was just to address that and then move on.
Yeah.
Like, but in the end, them staying quiet was the best thing because all the fake ones let themselves get exposed. They exposed themselves for everybody else to see. Right? The true blue are true blue, and all the fakes have been exposed. Period. That's what happened. Right? So now Xbox can move forward however they deem necessary. Was it a reset? Not on purpose, but the situation came to them and they played their cards, right? The correctly.
And the
Right.
idiots that
They
kept
played their
demanding,
cards.
like, they need to say something. They need to
They
speak.
didn't have to do
They
shit.
can't. They
That was the
don't.
best place.
Don't let it marinate for like a
right.
week and like have all these thoughts and everything. It's like, dude, they're not gonna answer the boys.
Yep, that's exactly right. You don't argue with children, just like they say, don't argue with a woman. All right, same shit, same shit. Like they just didn't let everybody run their mouth, set their flag, whatever they're gonna do, and now look at what I did, right? I already had this video card in the plans. God knows how long. I should have had it since last year, right? Like this time last year, right? I had the power supply in the case and that cable since last year, right?
It's out of date
Finally,
already.
right? I finally got the video card, so I was already messing with that. But that was before I'd ordered the card before this rumor really started, I believe. Right? I already had ordered the card like a week.
Oh yeah, you already
before
had
that.
it.
So it was already coming,
Mhm.
at least, right? So
Pause.
I didn't. Yeah, pause. I guess, but she always does, bro.
Oh. Pause.
But anyway, so it wasn't like, oh, well, this is what happened. Oh, the hell with Xbox. I'm just gonna go to PC. And it don't matter. It don't matter. You know, I'm gonna just rock PC because everybody likes to box me in as the PC dude. Like, the hell. I'm not only that. You know what I'm saying? I keep making the point all the time. Kind of different than either, I would say, console only or PC only. But I think more the way I started with the Commodore 64 was a PC that plugged into a TV. It kind of bridged the gap, right? And to launch a game is super simple. As not as simple as plugging in a cartridge, although you did have cartridges and you could do that. Most of the time, it was just load, comma 8, right? The star, comma 8, with the disc and the drive hit in there, boom, the game starts after a couple minutes. Boom, and now I'm playing with an Atari controller. It was simple, right? So I could have just went to PC and been cool. That's what I was thinking. If push ever come to shove, if it gets really bad. But at the same time, I'm gonna have my Xbox anyway. I'm not getting rid of it. I'm gonna ride this generation out. Then I'll see what happens with the next generation. Because there had already been rumors throughout this whole thing about the handheld thing, and that's the theory, and that's the prevalent rumor and theory that's been going
And you know what?
now.
And if they do come out with some kind of closed system handheld, I'd buy it.
Me too.
And you know, I'm not about the mobile devices.
Yeah.
I already spoke on it that I'm not
like to be a predecessor, all that stuff.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah, so
I've
you
said
were saying?
before that like I'm not interested in a Steam Deck or a ROG Ally or anything like that. It's like, but if they did had a closed system of an Xbox handheld, I consider it.
And if it could dual boot into like right back in, or if it was a mode in Windows that finally made it compatible, right? It just had the hardware that needed for Xbox specific stuff on there, and boom, you did it, right? And it could do both. That'd be great. Something like that. Whatever. It's probably why on the Surface team, on Panos Panay, he left. He didn't get fired. He left because he didn't agree with what the direction we're going to go. Maybe it is this direction, and we're going to hear about it this year, right? That's what the rumor is. Okay, we'll see, right? But like, all this stuff was said for no reason. So now we see. Now those of us who are thinking objectively start to theorize about things we've been hearing for a while, put stuff together, right? But that was happening all along. So for me, I'm thinking, well, whatever, fine, man. I focused on my games, and now that I've had this video card, bro, it's at a point now. So for me with my system, like I just maxed everything out. I'm not trying to brag, but I'm saying I maxed everything out, right? 4K 120. I don't always get 4K 120 locked. Like Starfield, I'm getting anywhere between 80 and 120, depending on the scene. Varies, right? I got G-Sync, I'm good. So there's no tearing, it's all smooth, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there will be varying levels of performance. It will be that is pretty much the worst I've seen. And the best is 4K 120 locked, right? I don't think about the set. I just max out everything and I just enjoy the experience. Mm-hmm. And it's at a higher tier because it's sharper. And Tekken 8, oh my god, locked 4K, no, just, and it looks ridiculous on console. So imagine how more ridiculous it looks on PC. I couldn't believe the leap that Tekken 8 got from Tekken 7. It's like the leap from Tekken 1 to Tekken Tag on PS2, where it was like Soul Blade on PS1 to Soul Calibur on Dreamcast. Like that level of leap in one game generation, right? And the Tekken 8 on my PC is that one little further, and I'm like amazed by it, right? But now it's just the experience of the game now, because I ain't got to worry about it. It just looks fantastic. It's smooth, high frame rates, even in Starfield, all this other stuff. And I'm just enjoying the experience. I don't have a frame rate counter on. I had it on at the very beginning to test stuff out and make sure everything was copacetic with my machine. Now I have that shit off. I don't know my frame rates. All I know is my eyes are telling me that shit is buttery smooth.
My eyes are telling me it is butter smooth.
And I got the controller in my hand and I'm rocking out, I'm playing and enjoying my experience. Like I would on a console, just at a better clip for all the money I spent. You know, I damn well expected that was the whole point, right? But I just sat there and I enjoyed my game. I played a lot more games than I had been in a while because the PC I had up until the video card upgrade was equivalent to the console. So I just rocked the console. It was simpler, but this was always in the works for me, right? This is something I wanted to do for a while. Hell, I wanted to have a 3080, but the pandemic with the scalping, all that stuff, I missed out on that, right? And in hindsight, I'm happy things worked out the way it works, man. Lord works in mysterious ways, they say. I gotta believe it. Truly, I'm looking at this thing. I can't believe I truly have it. Right? Boom. Like I'm enjoying my experience. I'm playing games. I'm having fun. This is what this shit is supposed to be about. But people is all worried about all this other crap. I'm like, bro, let that shit play out. All that stupid rumors and warmongering. Let all these receipts come out. All the fakes come out. Man, I'm gonna sit back and enjoy my games. When day comes, when we finally get the official word about what's really going on, bro, and then. My reaction, bro. My reaction, ask New Legal. Ask any of the dudes in the space. Beast of Truth, all of them guys were there. All I started doing was laughing maniacally like a villain, bro. My stomach still hurts from it, bro. And so I'm imagining, and I tweeted this earlier, I'm imagining all this time, all these rumors and stuff were going on. Phil Spencer's like that Elmo on me with the fire, with the flames in his hands in the air. He's like, yeah, let it all burn.
Let it burn, baby.
That's how I felt while I rocked out and played games at a higher clip than all the y'all dudes and talking all this war, all this bullshit about something that made no logical sense to put no attention in, bro. Like I was talking earlier to you, I realized about those guys up in that in that meme with the guys with the powdered wigs and all that, bro. I felt like that for real. And it wasn't on some like, oh, I feel better than you tip, but like, I'm looking down at these fools who sat there arguing about this dumb shit and acting like utter clowns, breaking their system, selling their system, and posting it all online.
Did you see what Justin did after the thing was over?
No.
There's a short clip video of him taking out his Series S out of the trash can with the big old grin on his face.
He should jump back in the can himself. You know what I'm saying? Like, let all that stuff happen, bro. I was out here chilling. I'm looking down at these guys. You guys is pathetic. Not because I had a high-end hardware, because even if I didn't have the video card, I would have felt the same way. I would have just focused on my games on PC. Because I know I could have got better in 30 frames my 2070 Super. I just never bothered to do it because I know this was on the way, right? But I would have did that instead over this past week or two. Like, ignore all this crap, let it play out because it was just stupid. I felt, and the validation I feel now, right, is the complete opposite of how stupid Tim Dog must feel, right?
Yeah.
I'm like, man, it's like the feeling of combination of I just picked the right horse, but also like I picked the right horse I feel for logical reasons.
You said horse.
I'm very like robotically logical like that. I wonder if I'm a Vulcan or some shit, huh? But like it just made no other sensible. This is why the both of us always said the same thing, Tech. We're gonna wait till the rumors is just confirmed or denied by Microsoft themselves.
Yeah.
Other than that, I ain't trying to hear from nobody else.
No.
Because everybody's talking, they don't know any more than us, and they all proved it to me.
They all proved it. They all just regurgitate everything that the first person was saying.
Exactly, bro. So I said and bro, now I feel like, man, whatever, bro. And everybody knows, like I keep saying it about the video cut, but like I'm not trying to be like that, but I know other dudes will act that way. So I'm gonna be petty for a little bit.
And then up to today's up to today's thing, everybody's with their breaking news. It's like you ain't got no breaking news.
Breaking news.
It's like get out of here with that shit, man.
Mm-hmm.
And then, but I put mine out. I put mine out about how Xbox is going to save Sony since Sony didn't meet their financials, and people got pissed. They were so mad because I said that.
Mm-hmm. And a lot of this stuff I'm talking about, I like it's in the back of my mind based on that thread, right? All the wild stuff that people were saying, like. That's why I know about it, because I was ignoring it otherwise. But of course, I have you on notification. So if you say stuff or anything in a thread or anything you're involved with, I'm gonna see, right? That's the only reason I know any of this stuff. Because like I said, I've been avoiding all that stuff. If you look at my tweets, bro, I ain't been on none of this stuff until today. Or maybe yesterday, I think I said one thing, man, about rumors. And then when this first popped off, I said, you guys are idiots talking about rumors or whatever. Something like that, right? Yeah. I stay focused on more important things or the other things I'm usually talking about anyway. Like, the whole, like that Mega Man port to Super Nintendo. The original Mega Man 1 by some homebrew devs, right? They made if the Super Nintendo CD had ever really existed, I feel like maybe this would have ever existed. So it's like Mega Man 1 ported to the Super Nintendo. The two systems really had like the same chip, the Super Nintendo with the 16-bit, so it could run all the same stuff. This is why Super Mario All-Stars just worked, right? And they made CD quality music from other versions of the game, like the PlayStation version, the PSP version, you could pick, right? And then as the intro, it had the intro video from like the Mega Man cartoon, Super Fighting Robot Mega Man, and they have this. This is free on the internet. I tweeted out the ROM. You can go get it from archive.org, right? It's there. It's like a special edition of Mega Man 1. I was having more fun doing that and watching these console idiots argue all day. You feel me? Yeah, I'm a gamer. I play games. This is what's supposed to give me joy. Not all this stupid console warning. Y'all can have it. But all these dudes who always like to stay neutral, man, y'all still fake to me, man. Y'all should have been preaching more about like, focus on games. Then I would have listened to y'all because I knew most of y'all was fake too. Because they'll say other stuff later on when it suits them. It was like fake neutrality. So, it wasn't consistent. But man.
I want to read this one comment. First, my initial post from yesterday. Breaking, right? Breaking. That's what everybody likes to say. Breaking. Xbox games are going to PlayStation to save Sony since Sony's not going to release any first-party AAA games until March 2025. My favorite one is this one. It's like, okay, two of them. Oh no, it's the same guy. Thank you, Microsoft. This guy said, "Thank you, Microsoft. We'll enjoy Forza, Gears, Halo, and Sea of Thieves on PlayStation." And I respond, "Oh, so you admit to Xbox game begging? Cool, right?" He goes, "Only if you admit that you're a 12-year-old child on the other side." I go, "Why? Is that what you're into? That's just gross, man." Get some. He never came back and said anything.
You killed him with that one. Damn.
He never came back, man. He must be dead.
He didn't expect that.
Ooh, I didn't expect that out of you, bro. I didn't know you were capable of that. Frankly, damn, bro. I ain't not messing with tech. Not that I ever had to urge you. This is one of the most positive people I know, bro. But damn, he can come back when he wanna. Shit.
It's like
he caught him off guard, man. He wasn't ready. He wasn't
No.
ready.
He wasn't
No.
ready, man. It's something else. And of course, I put Mr. Okay, there's some help out there for people like you. Oh man, I loved it, man. I love this thread. Was my favorite. I gotta bookmark this one so I don't forget.
Yeah, man. That's the
But
only reason why I know anybody was acting like this.
I've been rolling like sick, man. I haven't really been on Twitter, man. You know, when I started to hear the news, then I was like, you know, I see what's going on, see what people have to
I'll be
say,
right back. I answer the door.
and I started to see a lot of people like break character, bro.
Oh yeah,
And it was like it was crazy. It was crazy to see. Like, man, this is all it takes is a rumor. But I can't totally blame them, man. But I'm glad that, you know, the line of the show is don't take this as some type of, you know, sign or marker, whatever word he used, that everything's coming.
Yeah.
You know,
that's
because
the first thing he said.
Because see, the thing is like I thought that they would let it happen organically, you know, in the words of Jimmy, you know, just let people see that we got good stuff over here and they'll migrate over, you know, because a lot of people on PlayStation, they had an Xbox, but they went back, you know, towards the end of the generation.
Yep.
You know, they prefer it, PlayStation, because, you know, people don't really like change. It's what they go back to what you're familiar to. But the one thing that I don't understand, you know, when it comes to Xbox, it's kind of like YouTube. You know, most of your big YouTubers, they all just recycle the same viewers.
Yeah.
Especially like in the gaming community. You know, like Punty will be in this one, he'll go to another one, he'll go to another one, and we all do it. So the same thing is true in gaming, man. You know, I think I think Six got a Switch too. Most of your Xbox owners, most of your PlayStation owners, they have a Switch, right?
Mm-hmm.
Most of your Xbox owners have one or the other.
Mm-hmm.
There's very few that I see that only have an Xbox. You know what I mean? Up until this generation, that's how I was. So, like, how much growth do you really expect by putting games on other platforms? I don't expect this test subject to go as planned. Maybe with Sea of Thieves, maybe, because that's a fan base that it seems as though they don't give things a shot unless they're mainstream and everybody else tells them it's okay to play it. You know, because they didn't play Ratchet, bro.
Nope.
And Ratchet has way more production value than a Hi-Fi Rush. And it's a solid game. They're both equally fun.
Yeah.
One's rhythm, but they both kind of play the same. Except you don't really have a gun. At least I haven't acquired one in Hi-Fi Rush.
Man, that wolf battle is amazing.
I'm on like the fourth one.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked every one of them until I got the wolf one. I'm like, oh, the wolf. That's it.
The game was fun.
The wolf battle.
The game was fun. Yeah. It's just that I have any game that comes out, it's got to take me away from what I'm already doing.
Yeah.
Power was successful. Starfield. You know, those are the games that I just dropped everything I was doing and I played it. You know, but there's so many games that I have to play. Like this game that I just bought, Banishers or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Man, I don't know if I'm gonna fix it, but I found it on Anipa for the low, so I got it. And so it's like I'm gonna give it a shot. But but before that, I had started Persona 5, and then Persona. I bought them before they left Game Pass. So I jumped back in that. I was playing Persona 3. I was like, then I remember this kind of like Final Fantasy that, you know, you don't have to play them in order or anything like that. But why would I play the old Persona when I could play this new revamped one? So I started playing Persona 3 Reload. There's a bunch of games that I would rather play than that, but I just got to see what all the hype is about. I want to play Infinite Wealth.
I'm playing Ishii right now.
But see, I didn't beat the man who erased his name. That's the problem, you know. But the one thing,
Ishin and I think it's Infinite Wealth are spin-offs, so you don't have to be like in any order.
yeah, because I'm thinking like, what's the name of that game? Judgment.
Judgment.
That's because I
Also,
bought those games. I bought those games. I bought both of them.
that's a spin-off
But
too. So it's like it doesn't really. It's in the same world, but it doesn't really tie into
universe,
the
whatever. But
yeah.
Yeah.
Because you have Ishin and you have
I'm back.
is it Infinite Wealth?
Like a Dragon Ishin.
Infinite
Like a
Wealth.
Dragon Ishin is by itself.
Because
Yeah.
Ishin and Infinite Wealth are both in Game Pass. And I was trying to figure out which one do I need to play first to kind of keep it in chronological order.
Like,
And then
like-
they said it doesn't matter because they're standalone.
I got a quicker question because I think you should play them in order because usually there's like little references. Like I know there's a
well,
character
no,
that appears,
the Yakuza games you play those in order.
Yeah, you play those in
Yeah.
order. The Yakuza games.
but even the side ones, like because I've seen a cutscene from this new Infinite Wealth because I was watching Video Game Donkey and it shows there's this character who comes out and it's like this whole reveal. You could tell he's like a character you should know, but only if you played other
Yes.
games with.
So
these
Infinite
guys
Wealth
been involved
is like part of, like the Yakuza. I mean, yeah, kind of
Yeah,
have to play
yeah.
it last. Yeah.
Right, so there's a point when you're supposed to play it.
Yeah.
But I have a quick question though about all these Yakuza games. Which ones are not on Xbox? So isn't the whole franchise on
The
Game
whole
Pass?
thing's on Xbox.
Yeah, that's what I thought. That's incredible, bro.
Like all of
That's
Has-
what I,
they're
that's
all
what I
in
was just
Game
about to
Pass.
say.
They're all on Game Pass.
Because they took them out and then they put them back. Because I bought them when they left the first time. Like I got them off for like $35.
Hell, I played all of them
And then
while they're in Game Pass. I just kept knocking
Well, I
them out.
know, bro. But you know, like I still okay. I haven't beat Cyberpunk yet.
Really?
Really, like Cyberpunk came out and then something else came out. There's always something that's coming out, and it's like, man, maybe I should just stop buying games. You know, stop trying to play all the games. 'Cause I don't have that much time. You know, but yeah, I put Cyberpunk down for something else. Can't remember what came out around it, and then something else came out, and then something else came out.
Same thing happened to me because I remember I played it up until a point, and then I, for whatever reason, decided to restart and play over. Right? And I was playing Thanksgiving. I played to death, and then actually something else came out, and something else, and never got around back to it. And then I always said to myself, "But when they do the ray trace patch and like the big patch that are and everything out there, everybody's complaining about. Even though I didn't have an issue, I was like, I kept saying to myself, "Oh, I'll get back, and never did." Now my plan, but the next goalpost that I moved it to now is, oh, I'll buy the PC version now on Steam that I have this video card and play it there since the saves a cloud save, then it'll cross over and it'll be like, you know, with Starfield, same situation, right? And so even though I just bought the DLC on Xbox like 2 months ago, even though I knew I was planning to buy the video card, which is kind of dumb, I'll just buy it on Steam later on, the collection when they're on sale. And then yeah, just cloud over my saves and boom. Same as I'm doing with Starfield. But I'll probably do that after I beat Starfield. Because
Did either of you guys play Fist?
Fist. Not heard of it though.
I've heard it.
I mean, they gave it away in the Epic Game Store. It's in Game Pass. It's like a little cat or whatever with this Robo Fist, and you upgrade the fist, and it's like it's a fun like Metroidvania game. Like I didn't finish it. You know what I mean?
It's a Metroidvania.
Yeah, I didn't finish it. You know, I started playing Tiny Tina because I got it on sale.
I have a spreadsheet that I keep up with to make sure I go back and finish games because I hate starting and not finishing a game.
You did the responsible thing. Let me tell you something, bro. I have a list. It's evolved through my life as a gamer. I shit you not. Everything I'm saying is the truth. It's gonna sound wild and funny at the same time because that's how I like to tell my stories, but it's also no exaggerations. I swear. As a gamer, I've had a list. The list of games I'm gonna beat this summer. Then became the games I'm gonna beat before the end of the holiday break. You know, as I'm in school age, right? Then it became the games I'm planning to beat this year. Then, but there's always backlog of stuff that never got finished because the list never gets finished. So more and more it gets onto it. Now So imagine how it progresses, right? I swear to you, I now call it list of games I need to beat before I die. Right?
Yeah.
All of those games, and it's a literal list, right? All of those games, I still own them in their original formats with the saves archived, whatever it is, via emulation or whatever like that. Because I have, I know how to do stuff like that. But sometimes I buy the remasters if the save transfer over, whatever like that. Literally, bro. I will never finish it. Now Game Pass and the crazy.
I know.
You've been eating good on Game Pass for years. This is another reason, like all of this, I was just like, bro, my eyes open. But even this is stuff we all say all the time on these podcasts and stuff, bro. But when push finally came to shove, I had to make a choice. I know I'm going back on this, but it just like, it relates to what we're saying. I was just like, bro, F it, bro. I'm just going to stick to the gaming, and that's it. And it was just so freeing. And to see all this stuff happening, and it's like, bro, it's just what we were talking about. All these games, I'm never even gonna finish what I have anyway. And I'm complaining that other dudes get it. I don't care, bro.
Here's a screenshot of one of my spreadsheets. So on the top part here is what I have in progress right now, what I'm actually playing, or what I've started, right? And then the bottom part is games that I want to play but have not started, so I just have them as a reminder that I was like, these are the ones I want to play, right? And then over here on the far right are games that I've already finished, and I had I put how many days I've taken to finish it. That's how much of a nerd I am when it comes to keeping up with what I'm playing, what I want to play, and what I finished.
No, dude, you're responsible. I pulled the Tim Dog, right? I've been doing a Tim Dog all my life. You were doing a True Blue Xbox fan thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
We're smart and responsible, did the right thing. I've been doing the worst possible thing. Well, not really, because I do at least archive and keep those versions ready if I ever.
I'm still going with Metroid Dread. 856 days. I haven't finished that game yet. Yeah. 850.
I want to play that one.
Yeah, I'm a nerd.
I acquired that through the internet, and I had a feeling that I didn't want to spend $70 on it. It was right. Now another one that I acquired on the internet was Sunshine.
What Sunshine?
And
is it a Mario game?
Mario Sunshine.
Oh.
Mario Wonder or Sunshine?
Sunshine. And Bowser's Fury. It's like an old Game Boy game. They re-released. So that one I played it, loved it, quit it, and I'll find it somewhere for less than $60.
Oh, are you playing it on the RGLI or what are you doing?
Yuzu, yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
High validity and everything. Nice.
But see, look, man, I'm not a big advocate, emulation advocate, man. Unless it's like, that's what I tell my kids, man, because they call me out and stuff. I said, look, man, if they don't sell it to me or I don't think it's worth the asking price, I'm gonna do what I do. But if I
it's
like
not a lost sale. If I was
because honestly,
buy it after all. Yeah.
Because look, honestly, bro, we came up in the era of demos.
Yeah.
We came up in the era where these companies weren't afraid to let you get a ski taste, and now they don't even want you to talk about the game because they don't want anything out about it. They're not confident in the product the way they used to be.
Mm-mm.
So like, man, let me try it because look, Nintendo was so confident that Metroid Dread was a good game that they let you demo it. But if the game is selling 12 million in a month, then they ain't even thinking about a demo. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I'll do it, man. Especially that's why I'm a big advocate for Game Pass, man. It takes away a lot of the guesswork, takes away a lot of even considering the media as something that you should listen to
Game
as far
Pass
as a gaming opinion.
has saved me from regretful purchases because they've been some games that I've had on my wish list and they release, but they end up having. I had it on my wish list, and it turned out that they were landing in Game Pass anyways. I'm like, oh, fantastic! And so I went, tried it, and I think it was 2 games back to back. I was like, oh man, this is trash. I ain't playing this shit. I was like, I'm
You
glad.
don't remember the games?
One was, I think it was Ashen. Was one of them?
Oh yeah, bro.
One was Ashen, and another one was like something right before it too. And I'm like, nope, man. I was
You
like,
gotta like those types of games. Action is not bad. It's just not my kind of game.
it just wasn't for me. Like, nope, couldn't get through an hour of it. It's like, nah, I can't play this game. And there was another one before that one. It was back to back. It was the one before Ashen and then Ashen. I'm like, dude, that's too like 0 for 2. It's like,
Y'all realize like the Xbox, they advertise and promote so many games that we forget. Right? What happened to that Flintlock game? I don't even hear anybody
oh,
talking
dude,
about that
I have
game
a
anymore.
spreadsheet of all the games I've been interested in throughout all the shows that they had in the past. That way I can remember to start
Yeah.
looking them up again. Like you said, Flint Rock. You got Project Mara. There was crap load of other games that I've kind of had in my not my wish list, but kind of like my spreadsheet. After every show that I've taken notes, I was like, all right, here's some games some game titles I'm going to look after and look for and see if they release. And sure enough, man, like 2 or 3 years come out. I was like, dude, where is this game at? Like nothing.
Bro, I stopped even thinking about Silk Song. That's another
Oh,
one.
there was an
like,
article just the other day about it. Like, oh, they're still working
What?
on in this. That. Like, they ain't reading.
Oh yeah, that game is a hit. They're not gonna stop doing what they need to do. Look, I don't mind. You know, I have so many games, and there's so many games that come out that it's cool. It's cool to take your time. Like that's one thing you give Nintendo props on. Like they have in the past, but lately they haven't released any half-baked games.
Okay, here's a few.
They haven't really.
Here's a few. Arc Raiders. Like, I forgot what these games even look like. There's one called Arc Raiders. There's one called
I don't know that one.
Blue Protocol. Right? There's one called The
Uh-huh.
Chant. Exomecha. What happened to that? Right?
Yeah, I remember that one. I was gonna bring that up.
Identity V. What happened to that? Mayamosa.
I think Exo Mecha was out and it flopped or something. I could have sworn it came out already.
Nightingale. What happened to Nightingale?
Nightingale is out.
Is out?
Yeah, Nightingale. That wasn't a Game Pass game though.
No, not just saying. It's
Nope.
just like games in general. Then there's one called Osiris New Dawn. I think that was a space game. Like, what happened to that one? Right.
Yeah.
Pragmata. What happened to Pragmata? That was a big one at one point.
I have a
Stuff
question.
that came out.
I have a question. You ever watch the like the indie showcase that I forget who does it. It's that British
Wandering Dutch.
Wandering Duck. He does it every couple of months. It's almost like an indie
Yeah.
dream. But sometimes there's bigger games on there too, right?
Nah, he
A
does
lot
an
of
indie show. He does a big indie showcase, bro.
Yeah.
It's
like a
nice.
show- oh, but that's what I'm saying. It's like a indie equivalent of E3 because he's just dropping content.
R.I.P.
right? Like,
E3.
right? Facts, right? So I feel like a lot of these games were shown there, right?
Mm,
That's the vibe I get. Like there was so many because every time you watch it, you keep thinking, "Ooh, that looks cool. Ooh, that looks cool. Ooh, that looks cool." And there's just so many. You quickly forget the names. You quickly forget the names, bro. So many, but a lot of those names sound familiar. Like I bet
Bro.
you saw them there.
Hey, y'all remember that indie game, that Chinese game, Chinese studio? Something Wins. Bro, that game looks so good. Man, I'm gonna have to Google it. But like it was something Wins. It's let me get my phone. But like it was Wandering Dutch had it on there. Let me see.
while you do that, I'm gonna start wrapping it up. You can tell us the thing after I'm done here.
Yeah, I
But-
forgot the name here.
But I guess after all the rumors and after today's show or update from Phil Spencer and team, after all that mess that happened all week, people are going berserk, losing their minds, throwing away their Xboxes. traded it in, got $150 for it. It's business as usual. And nothing's changed except that
Nope.
that 4 games are unnamed. Nobody knows who they are, what they are. Or they're going to other platforms, whether they're PlayStation or Nintendo or both. And then that's it. That's it. And then there's some new hardware they're talking about, right? Who knows what that would be? Is it a refresh of the current systems or handheld? Nobody knows. So
One thing
Well,
that you
that's
can be
fun.
certain of, the name of the game is called Where Winds Meet.
Yes. Okay. Yeah, I remember.
But like
The refresh.
he
I
said
forgot
he
about that. Like
he said he said that they're gonna, I don't know if they're interested in that, but I know he said this is gonna be the biggest technological leap when the next gen comes.
But what is this technological? Because everybody, since we got the Series X and all that, the most powerful console in the world or whatever it is, right? What are people expecting when they say, it's going to be a huge leap? Like, is it graphics? Is it the frame rates? Is it games are going to look more realistic? Because
think about it like
games like let's just say games like Gears of War.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get a realistic look of it. Gears of War, the art, the way it looks is the way it looks, and it's going to stay that way. They're not going to try to make it into some the Last of Us type looking game.
No,
right?
they won't, but it'll get sharper and more detailed and more like real in quotes. It'll look more real, like whoa, and the frame rate and the animation.
Because that's how I'm always take it. Like when some new hardware, some new cards like the ones you got, right?
Mm-hmm.
These powerful ones that can do so much,
right?
That now they're expecting all future games to have this like ultra realistic look to a game. And I don't think that way. I think it's just how smooth and what if more assets can be added, right?
Yeah. And I think what's going to happen is you got to imagine it like this, right? The next generation is like closer to the end of the decade, right?
Yeah.
Like 2027, 2028, maybe even 29, right? Let's say 28, split the difference, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's 4 years from now.
Mm-hmm.
If the 4090 is about a year old, the consoles are going to be past that by then. Even low-end consoles will be past that capability by that point if you just logically, follow the rise in teraflops, this to say.
Yeah.
That has a really bad metric, right? It'll minimum be there by then. That's minimum. Let's give it mid-range. It'll be like closer to 5090 maybe on console by that point. That's years from now. 4 years from now? Yeah, I could see that, right? CPU is better. They're doing a lot of API stuff will be integrated in CPUs now. Like Intel's about to release some stuff. AMD is as well. Like the mobile chips already got that, right? Like that's going to be integrated into the consoles too. The ray tracing will be way better. All that ray tracing, like that's like a lot of the rendering will be more ray traced, right? So it's more real, once again, in quotes, right? It'll like you don't have to sit there and map out the lighting. You just use ray tracing and it's real lighting, right? Like the way light would have bended to make shadows and stuff, instead of you having to pre-bake all those lighting effects and shadows, and they spend all this money on art design and stuff. And plus, they're gonna rock that AI, no matter how much the internet loves to try to make it look like, oh, it's a villainous thing to use AI for anything nowadays. You're putting, oh my God, so many people out of work. Artists are going out of work. Yeah. Photoshop was claiming to do the same thing back in the day. I remember those arguments as a kid. Photoshop was gonna destroy art. Yeah, right. That didn't happen either, right? So imagine all of that stuff. Like, and that's like the minimum of just like technological performance, right? Then it's about how much easier does it make someone able to create the game and stuff.
Yeah.
The accessibility to everything. How much more of this will just be on the cloud, or like the device you have that does all this is a handheld instead, right? And when you plug it in, like the difference in resolution, there'll be 8K. Yeah, but no one will care. It'll be 8K capable, no one will care, right? Like the Series X has the right HDMI stuff to at least output 8K. And maybe some low-end indie game will come out one day when Xbox finally unlocks that, and it could run at 8K 60 just as bragging rights. But it's real low poly or whatever, right?
Yeah.
Or low texture or something that just, like how certain games were 1080p 60 way back on 360 because they didn't really push hardware like that.
Yeah.
Like you'll have that equivalent one day, right? And then you'll see. But no one will care about 8K. What they really will care about is 4K 120 locked or 240 hertz. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
Locked, right? Smooth. That's all technical stuff. But none of the gameplay stuff, all the gameplay stuff is just gonna be the typical evolution of games. But hopefully it does make it easier for newcomers to the production side of games.
Yeah.
New ideas and concepts, and that's what that'll be. But for now, that's why Xbox is trying to do Xbox everywhere. Why? Which I've come to learn was the code name for xCloud. It's Xbox everywhere. That's been the motto. That's what's gonna happen. We see it. The other guys are doing it too. Everybody knows that it's not now, but that's the future. I think the next generation will be the last real generation of like real hardware that you care what's in the box that much. Then generations after that, there'll be a box if you want, but by then the streaming thing will take over, right?
Yeah.
That's 15, 20 years from now. How old am I going to be by then? Like 60 or something? I don't know. I'm not. How much more am I going to
You're
care?
gonna be an old man.
But that's when I'll be retired and really finally get to
Hey,
hit that list
Shanae.
before I die. I'll finally finish that list before I die. When I'm 84, then I'll die. I'll be good. That's life for me. You know what I'm saying? That's the answer to the question, I feel.
Here, over 60 years old, still rocking the Xbox.
Hey, no, but tech, because like I think I was on Legal Show. I said this. It's like how realistic do we need video games to be? We're still playing video games.
Yeah.
So it's like at some point we need to reach a mark, because there's a group of people whose job it is to create something different. And like I think Sik mentioned earlier, it comes to like things like ray tracing. Right, we went from global illumination, all these things. There's always something else to try to make a game look more lifelike. That's more taxing on your hardware.
I'm still here.
Oh, you said it says the stream is ended, but
No, just the share screen.
Oh, the video. Okay, but yeah, so like at some point we need to be able to hit a high mark where we don't keep trying to push games to look more lifelike. Like make them look lifelike, but not trying to rival movies. You know what I mean? We're at the point where we got like motion capture and things like that. Like we need the animations to look as lifelike as possible. When at the end of the day, we're still playing a video game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's cool. But like I said before, I got kids around, noise. I never forget that I'm in real life. I know that like a lot of these nerds talk about immersion a lot, but that's why I said like when you look at Nintendo, and I said, man, Xbox should make some games like along those lines. Put that on Xbox. That's why I want to see Everwild. How is Everwild gonna run? Right? But then when they do that and they make a game that looks like Everwild, they add something else to it to make it stumble. Frame rates should be the number one thing we look for. I'm sorry, as a person who plays games over 60, I'll take 30 if I have to. You want to be over 30. 40 should be the new minimum. Performance should be paramount when it comes to putting these games out. That's my opinion, man. Because like you can play a game, you can play a game.
60 frames.
What'd you say?
That's what you want to expect 60 frames next generation. Like if you don't see it, it's an actual L because you'll be. Like I said, with the 4K, with the 8K, nobody's gonna care about 8K, even though the system will be capable of it. So instead, you'll trade that for better frame rates at 4K. So thus, 4K 60 will always be the minimum now. At that point.
If you got people buying consoles for 8K TVs, man, just go buy a PC.
Yeah.
I mean, 8K, unless you're gonna rock unless you're gonna rock a TCL, or ONN, or Westinghouse or some crap like that, because those TVs are expensive, and then you want an 8K TV, and then you want it to run 120. It's like, come on, man, you got to pay for that.
Right. So that's why like 4K 60 will finally be the real minimum. and then it's less
4,
about
4K,
the graphics.
4K60 should be the new 1080. Or
Right.
you know, and we skipped all over 1440.
Yeah, we skipped all over that, right? But like the mid generation from last generation really did that, or even this generation really, because we're really just upscaling, right? But like it will be like what you just said. Like it will be less about graphics and all that stuff now, because now we've reached a point where we'll do better, but it's more about performance and all that other stuff. That will be like all the time performance mode. That's what I'm saying. 4K 60 will be the real minimum finally, right? So that's out the window now.
Yeah.
All these console dudes who claim to care about that.
I ain't gonna
Console
lie,
dudes
Sig.
really hot about that.
If they come up with something that make lips move the right way and teeth look good,
Yeah, I hear
hey,
you.
I'm for it.
I'm with
I
it
think
too. I'm with
I
it too.
think if they can make teeth that look like teeth in video games,
Yeah, when
I'll
they
take that. I'll take
when they're
over ray
emoting their mouth.
tracing.
Yeah,
Like
bro,
they
when
got
they're emoting their mouths and
chiclets.
stuff. Bro, it
And
reminds
then-
me of, you remember that CG show on TV Reboot? Like like the way everybody would move their mouths or with their hands when they would like put their hands out, like their palms out. Like they would always have like the bad animation in their hands. I always noticed that, right? So it's crazy.
All
But
right.
yeah, so that'd be one thing. But man, yeah, go ahead and sign us off, man.
Let's get out of here, man. My legs are falling asleep on this chair here. I think I need a new
You
chair.
need to get you a purple butt pillow.
I do need a butt pillow for these legs
Yeah.
because I'm losing.
I'm
circulation.
gonna endorse the purple butt pillow.
Purple butt pillow. I'll look it up. You know, me just saying it probably just start popping up with advertisements as I browse around.
Oh, because you know they're spying on us.
Yeah, they're spying on Madam Web. Nah, I'll wait for it to release on whatever streaming service.
What's that?
We're waiting for Godzilla X Kong next month. That's our next movie to go watch. Even though
And I watched the Beekeeper.
oh, how was that? I like his type of movies.
Yeah,
Because he always has some kind of goofy line that's just like, all right, that's just the catchy line that he says when he before he kicks ass.
I know, like in Crank he did, but like, no, but this one, man. Look, I mean, I've been paying for the subscription for the movies. I hadn't been. I paid for it back in November. I was just sitting around. I said, man, let's go to the movies. It was 10 o'clock, so I just found the closest movie, Royal Theater, that had a movie I wanted to see, and The Beekeeper was one. I'd never seen Dune, and they got that in the IMAX. I paid 50 cents extra to go to the IMAX. What you laughing at, man?
No, I've done that.
Well, I mean, because it's $18 a month, and I can go to the movies. Now the VIP cost me like $7, something like that. But IMAX, I paid 55 cents, and I got to go watch IMAX.
There you go.
Hey, now that one that I did go to, man, bro, I was getting shot with water. The seat was shaking like a roller
you got
coaster.
the 4D thing, huh?
Okay, that's what that is.
Yeah, it's the 4D.
So, cause see, I went to watch Hunger Games. It's like one of my favorite
You
movies.
got shot with water.
Yeah, I
You
got
go-
skied with water. Bro, it was raining. It was raining outside, and so my kids, they wanted to go watch something else, and they can't. And their movie finished before mine did.
Yeah.
And so they came in there with me to watch. You know, where are you at? I'm in theater such and such. Okay, I said it's pretty empty. Come in here. You know, one of my children wanted to go watch some cartoon. Nobody else wanted to watch it with her. So they
is it
all
Paw
came and met
Patrol?
me. I don't remember what that movie was, but it was Paw Patrol. It was something.
Yeah.
I started watching. It didn't seem like it was gonna be a bad one. So anyway, they come in there with me. They're like, "Daddy, why didn't you tell us you were coming in here?" I said, "I told y'all I came here to watch the Hunger Games." Yeah, but this is messed up. Why didn't you bring us? I said, "Leave me alone." Because they came in there, they were getting shot with water. You know, you can turn the water off if you it's that water that won't make you wet. You know what I'm saying?
You come out, you're drenched in the water.
Yeah, it's not that. It's like mist. It's like it's constant. You hear air because I'm telling you that the seats are like roller coasters.
Yeah, and they turn on the fan when something windy's going on.
Yeah, that too. That costed like an extra $5.
Yeah, that's the 4D experience. That's when everything's shaking and everybody's spitting on you and the wind's farting in your face. Yeah.
Yeah, I should have picked like an action movie for that one.
Yeah.
But I like the Hunger Games. I like those types of movies. What's the other one? Insurgent, Resurgent, Divergent.
No, I don't watch that.
Ah, man. All right, man.
All
Y'all
right,
have
man.
a good night.
Let's
Shout out to the chat.
Bye, chat. Bye.
All right, fellas.